I'll tell you a little story. When I was a little boy and before, my mother had a best friend, and her best friend's name was Peggy. And they did all kinds of things together. They swapped recipes, they shared tips on raising children, they went to church together. They were very, very close, and their kids were close as well. Well, at some point in time, Peggy had brought some trinkets from New York City. I'm assuming it's from some trip that she had made, but she brought a couple little trinkets and mementos and gave my mom these little gifts as souvenirs. One was the Empire State Building, and the other one was the Statue of Liberty. Well, mom treasured them as she treasured Peggy because just a few years later, Peggy, who I adored as well, um, died. She had cancer, and treatments weren't what they are today, and she just didn't make it very long, and it really crushed my mother. One of the things my mom had to remember her by were these two little trinkets. As a matter of fact, these are them right here. My mom displayed them and displayed them proudly in our home. And being a little boy, I was forbidden from touching them. But like most little southern boys, I had a mud hole. I had a mud hole that I played in. And my parents kept it wet with the water hose, and you name it, stuff went down there to die. Sometimes it was Hot Wheels cars, or maybe it was silverware that would go into the murky depths and never come out again. Over time, I ran out of things to bury and, well, just submerge in my little swamp of a hole in our front yard. Well, knowing that I was forbidden from touching them, one day when my mother wasn't looking, and I don't know, I was probably, I don't know, I might have been school age. I don't really remember, but I know I was a little boy, and I nabbed my mother's little trinkets that Peggy had given her. I took the Statue of Liberty, I took the Empire State Building, and I took them out to my little mud hole, and I started digging with them. Now, my intent in my little child's mind was to put them back where they belonged, and no one would be any wiser. What I didn't realize as I had buried these trinkets was that the arm and the torch of the Statue of Liberty had broken off, and the very point and tip of the Empire State Building was gone too. They were somewhere in my mud hole, never to come back. I was mortified because I was going to be in trouble. And my mother did not spare the rod. She believed in correction, and I knew what I had coming. So, in the best way that I could as a small child, I cleaned the mud off these two little trinkets, which was probably horrific. They were caked up with muck and junk and dirt and just looked terrible. And I put them back on the same shelf in the living room where they had been, where I was forbidden from touching them. Well, it didn't take my mother long to realize what had happened. And she saw her two little mementos from her dear friend that had passed on, and that they were, well, they were never to be the same because I couldn't find the arm and I couldn't find the point. And I remember as a small child thinking and worrying about how much trouble I was going to be in. And then in just a moment's time, I wasn't worried about that. I was just crushed because I had hurt my mother's feelings, and she was crying. Nothing I could say was going to make it better. Nothing I could do could fix it. And when I went to tell her I was sorry, which was pretty hollow, she really didn't have anything to say. She just wept. I walked away in shame, not realizing how much I could hurt my mother's feelings. And after just a little while, my mother came to me, and I thought I was going to get it good. And it was worse not getting a whipping. But she came to me, and she wrapped her arms around me, and she kissed me, and I just broke down bawling. It's probably the first time in my life I was truly repentant. I really did not want to do what I had done. I wanted to undo it, and it couldn't happen. But in the way that mamas have a way of doing, Mama just said, "Oh, they're just old trinkets." And from that day forward, she cleaned them up, and she still displayed them, even though they weren't intact anymore. She still put them out every day, and they were still out the day that she died. Well, that day, after I had hurt her feelings so bad, within just a few hours, she was baking me cookies. But she taught me a lesson that I'll never forget. No matter where we've been or where we go or what we've done, God still loves us. No matter what I had done, my mom still loved me, and she showed me that. She also taught me the importance of things that, well, importance of somebody else's feelings, to think of somebody else besides myself. It was a valuable lesson, and one that I was to be retaught many, many times. And I tell you this story because it is a story of grace. It's a story of a mama's love, but it's also the story of growing up. And I tell you this, Katie and Jillian, as mamas of little boys, I'm not telling you not to discipline. I'm not telling you not to give correction, because that's your job. You have to do that as well. But I am telling you that the strength of a mother's love is immeasurable. And I give you these tokens that are not worth a thing, not worth a nickel by any monetary evaluation, but they hold a significant value to me. And today I give them to you. I don't know which one you're getting which. They're in random boxes, but I want you to have them. And I'm not asking you to display them. I'm not asking you to put them up anywhere. I'm just asking you to put them away and to keep them. And every time you see them or think about them, just to be reminded that sometimes raising little boys may not be easy. But continue to teach them and continue to love them. And I know you will. Raising little boys can be challenging, but I know you can do it. I have confidence. Merry Christmas.